To make the presentation to our third inductee, please welcome triple Olympic silver medalist and the woman who dominated the sprinting world from 1968 right through until 1982. Ladies and gentlemen, Raylene Boyle. Good to see you. Our next inductee took her sport to new levels of speed, power and athleticism. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Emma Carney. Photo. Thanks, Raylene. Yeah. Congratulations. I want to go back to that first triathlon. The swimming leg was a bit of a problem, wasn't it? The very first one.
Oh yes, the very first triathlon. So I was a runner in Melbourne, and I can probably confess in this room, I've got the worst case of white line fever you can ever get, and I just wanted to be a world-class athlete. And I always thought I'd be a runner, and it turned out I was a better triathlete. But in my first triathlon, it was just a local race, 750 metre swim, 20k bike, 5k run. And I lost. I thought, how hard can that be? I can run. I was actually running for Australia at that time, and I had to ride a bike, and everyone in Australia can swim. I lost 7 minutes in the swim, which is probably the time it should take to swim that far, and got on my bike and just rode flat out. And coming from a track background, you can see who's at the front of the race and who's at the end. This triathlon thing, I didn't know where I was, so I got onto the run, and every time I ran past a girl, I asked her if she was winning. And finally got to the girl that said yes, she was. And I said, oh, good.
Goodbye. And am I right in saying that your dad said after that first one, look, if you can learn to swim, you'll be a world champion? Yeah. And the following year, you were the world champion.
Yeah, it's Dad's very black and white. I was very lucky when I was growing up. Dad was in the sports and fitness industry, without saying all the names of the companies. So I was always in the best sports gear, and I was always sitting in Dad's office and watching these great athletes come in, and I wanted to be like them. But it was Dad's idea. He said, I reckon you're the best triathlete in the world. And I said, well, how did you work that out? It's just a local race. He said, well, internationally you've got to double every distance. I said, so I'll be like 14 minutes behind in the swim? And he said, well, you need to learn to swim, but then you're the best triathlete in the world. So it was actually Raylene that helped us find the coaches that would, because you can imagine you find these swim coaches in Australia and say, you've got to teach me to swim. I need to win a world title in 18 months' time. So it was a good joke.
You were driven. Where did your competitive spirit come from? I mean, you said you had white line fever, but I think you had more than that.
Where does it come from? It's just a combination of so many things. I've got a very dark secret. I was born in England, and
well, we better take a break.
And my dad decided he was going to live in Australia when he was about 11. He saw a picture of this country, and his granddad said, if you can live in that country, you've got to go there. So Dad decided he was going to do that. My mum's name's Sheila, so she was destined to live here. And every time, I just remember growing up, Dad was just talking about this great country that we now lived in. It was so fantastic. And I was obsessed with sport and just want to be a part of it. And every time I put that green and gold on, I wasn't just fighting for myself. I was fighting to the death As it turned out, I almost was.
Correct, yes. I asked that question because I want to read you a quote from Chris McCormack, who said of you, "Emma is hard," referring to your long training and your ruthless ferocity in competition. Fair summary?
Yeah, I was. It was a bit ridiculous. I used to train until I could see stars, and then I thought that was a good training session.
Some of us do other things till we see stars, but you do that. Gee. Well, you're amazing, and you're now in a very elite group of people because welcome to the Sport Australia Hall of Fame, Emma Carney. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Emma.